about the third way that you can move a shape around the coordinate plane. This is the third and final way that we're going to talk about. The first way was a translation, otherwise known as a slide. The second way was a reflection, otherwise known as a flip. This third way is called rotation, which is otherwise known as a turn. And a lot of you guys are going to think of this as taking a shape and turning it about a fixed point. So, for the record, a rotation is a transformation in which a figure is turned around a fixed point. And we're going to be doing this using the coordinate plane. Now, the point by which these shapes are going to be turning or rotating is called the center of rotation. Right there. Did it go? No. There it is. The center of rotation. And there are different ways that you can rotate shapes, but for our purposes, for what we're learning in 8th grade math, the center of rotation for us is going to be the origin. Right? Where the x-axis and y-axis crisscross each other, where they are each 0, 0. So, we are going to be rotating images about the origin. So, here's kind of what it looks like. The original image here is triangle ABC, the black triangle on the left-hand side. It has been rotated 90 degrees clockwise. Oh boy. First of all, you have to remember what clockwise means, right? Clockwise means the direction in which the hands of a clock move. So hopefully my little blue arrow here kind of helps you remember what clockwise means. And as far as the 90 degrees goes, well, that goes back to the fact that a circle, a complete circle, has 360 degrees in it. So if the whole circle is 360 degrees, if you rotate it 90 degrees, that is basically 1/4 of a circle. That is 1/4 of a turn. And in a little bit, we are going to take a shape and rotate it 180 degrees. So, this is a 90-degree turn, 1/4 of a turn, or 1/4 of a circle, and this is a 180-degree turn, or 180-degree rotation, which is a 1/2 of a turn, or a 1/2 of a circle. Okay? So that's what we mean when we say 90 degrees. We mean basically taking it from one quadrant into the next quadrant. And if we would do a 180-degree rotation, we're going to take it from one quadrant and move it not to the next quadrant, but to the next quadrant beyond that. And you'll get to see one of those in action. Now, there are all kinds of complicated ways that I could teach you how to do this. And I'm not gonna lie. Rotating shapes can be tricky. It's hard to get the shape in the right position and then label your primes, A prime, B prime, C prime. I mean, it's almost like you have to imagine this is your fixed point. This is where your paper stays put. So imagine if you could hold your finger on that big red dot and take this coordinate plane and turn the whole coordinate plane 90 degrees, or 1/4 of a turn, and then stop. And if you could do that, this is how the shape would end up. It would end up over here on the right in red, A prime, B prime, C prime. Now, that's if I could get you to do this using an actual piece of paper, and if you had tracing paper, and if all of these other things. However, there is actually a mathematical formula that you can apply. It is extremely important that you write this down. Write this down. Please, for the love of God, right? Write it down. Come on now, write that down. These are the steps that you can take mathematically to rotate a figure 90 degrees about the origin clockwise, which is what we're always going to be doing. We're always going to be doing about the origin. We're always going to be doing clockwise. But this is the specific steps for the 90-degree turn. Okay, so you're going to have all of your coordinates. You're going to have, for example, A is, your X value and your Y value. To make it A prime, once it's been rotated 90 degrees about the origin, here's what you're actually going to do with your ordered pair. You are going to list your original coordinates, which would be your x and your y, you're going to flip the x value signs to its opposite. So you're going to look at the x, and if it's positive, you're going to make it negative. If it's negative, you're going to make it positive. Once you do that, once you flip the x to its opposite, then you're going to flip-flop the x and the y positions. So then the y number moves to this position. You know, this is from your original ordered pair. And the x number, whatever it is, that you just made, either positive or negative, jumps over here to the second spot. So it's like we reverse the order of our ordered pair. And yes, I realize that sounds confusing, but trust me, this is a better way to do it than all the other ways I could try to show you. Rotating shapes is not easy any way you slice it. So once you switch the x and the y coordinates, right and left positions, then you get to graph your new image. So your original ordered pair, the x and the y, that stays as it is, and that will help you draw your original figure. But to get your new values for your new image, to get your A primes and your B primes and your C primes, that's when you follow these steps. Okay? Let's see one in action. Okay, graph the image of the figure using the transformation given. We're going to rotate this triangle, ABC, about the origin. Okay, so we're going to take this shape, and it's going to go 90 degrees clockwise. So we know we're going to rotate it. It's going to end up somewhere over here. So you have to imagine about the origin, if I could take this piece of paper and turn it 1/4 of a turn. Step 1, list the original coordinates for A, B, and C. Let's do that. Where have I got that written? Right here. I'm going to move down just a little bit here. Okay. The original coordinates for A are -4, +3. That's that guy. B, -7, -2. That's that guy, right? These are the originals. C, -2, -1. That's that guy. I haven't changed anything yet. Now, step 2 says, flip the x value signs. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on my primes. A prime. Flip the x value sign. So instead of a -4, I'm going to use a +4. And I'm going to also do step 3, which is switching the x and y coordinates. So instead of using that -4, I'm going to use a +4, and I'm going to put it in the y spot. And then the 3 right here, that was my original y, becomes my new x. So they switched spots, and the original x, which was negative, became a positive. Okay? So let's try B prime. Instead of -7, I'm going to switch it to a +7, and I'm going to put it over there in the y spot. And the original y, which was -2, he doesn't change. He just goes to the x spot. So for C, the -2 becomes a +2, and it goes there. And the -1 that was the original y now becomes my new x. These are your primes. A prime, B prime, C prime. Let's draw it. For A, over 3, 1, 2, 3, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's A prime. B prime, -2, left 2, up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. B prime. C prime, -1, up 2. C prime, draw my new triangle. There it is. It rotated 90 degrees about the origin. Didn't say it was easy, and I never said it was easy. Very similar process if you want to rotate the figure 180 degrees. So you have to imagine now you're going to take that paper and do a half of a turn. 180 degrees is half of a circle. Here are the directions. You're going to list your original coordinates for your original figure. Then you're going to flip that x value sign from positive to negative or negative to positive. And you're also going to flip the y value signs from positive to negative or negative to positive and graph your new image. These guys do not switch positions though. or 180 degrees, these are your steps. The x and the y stay in their same spots, but if they were positive to begin with, they become negatives. If they were negatives to begin with, they become positives. So this one's actually maybe a little bit easier. We'll do one example, and then we're done. Parallelogram ABCD has these vertices. Graph it and its image after you rotate it 180 degrees about the origin. All right, so I'm going to graph this thing. I'll put the original one in black. No, I'll put the original one in blue since the points are blue. Okay, here we go. -3, -1 is here. That's A. B, over 1 down 2. That's B. C, -1, -4. Here's C. D is -5 down 3. Here's D. Yep, it's a parallelogram. Now, I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees about the origin. So I'm going to take this thing and it's going to turn. It's not going to go into this quadrant. It's going to come somewhere over here. 180 degrees. It's going to jump 2 quadrants. All right, here we go. I'm going to erase that though because I don't want it to get in the way of my drawing. Now, let's do our new coordinates. Remember, all we're really doing is changing the signs. A prime is going to become +3, +1. B prime will become a -1, +2. C prime, +1, +4. And D prime, +5, +3. All I did was change the signs on the original points. So I flipped the signs on the x's, I flipped the signs on the y's. Now I'm going to plot. For A prime, over 3, up 1. A prime. B prime, -1, up 2. C prime, +1, up 4. And D prime, +5, up 3. Draw the new shape. And it did rotate. Look at the D. It did go 180 degrees. Here's my original D. Here's my D prime. It went all the way a half of a turn, 180 degrees of a circle. In fact, you want to see something cool? If I draw a dotted line from the original D through the origin to the new D, see how it makes a straight line? That's how you know it was 180 degrees. It makes a straight line. From the original to the origin to the new location. More than anything, writing down these steps is crucial. So please, please, please write down those steps. And here's what it says. We do have a rotations worksheet that we're going to be working on the next 2 days during class. And again, we're using worksheets because this lesson is not in our textbook. All right? All right. Thanks.